Hello everyone, hello and welcome to something a bit different. As you may know, a couple of days ago Nvidia announced their new series of video cards, and I thought I'd make a short video highlighting something that may be important, or at least something that I consider to be important, a detail that a lot of people, some people have picked up on, but a bunch of people haven't, and it's a bit disconcerting. I think that's how you pronounce it, that some people have not caught on to this. It is downright disturbing, because it's sort of an evolution of the thing that got me really spooked about 2 years ago, and that is that Nvidia seems to be playing a long con game that is absolutely paying off big time, and I mean it's doing wonders. So this is the new generation. This is the RTX 3000 series. This is Ampere. This is a really neat PCB design. That is superb, and this cooling system is probably gonna heat up your CPU a lot. Hopefully not a lot. Well, I don't even have a side panel on my case anymore because it's kind of hot. So well, this probably won't be won't really matter in my case. But anyway, so the 3000 series was announced, and I'm really excited for it because, as you know, I have the RX 480, the one that I made a review of a while back, the one that gave me a couple of scares when I first installed it. It didn't work because the motherboard of the PC was kind of terrible, which is okay. It was a low-end gigabyte model. Raul didn't think back then that he needed a
let me show it to you.
A good motherboard for his PC, and well, he didn't. But anyway, so this is the new series, and I want to get a 3070, an RTX 370. No, that's 3070 if you want to talk American numbering, which is kind of strange. At least it's not 3070. That would be even more terrible. So a 3070, a video card that is going to basically be, according to what the people at Nvidia say, kind of have the performance, or more performance, better performance than a 2080 Ti for $500. And people have been just ecstatic when they heard it. They just exploded. Their minds melted. Like, more performance than a $1,200 video card for $500. That's not even half, and you're giving me more than that for half. That's, how can they do that? That's amazing. That is just stupendous. And the pricing, like in my country, things tend to arrive at a price that's stupid. For example, well, and if you don't read Romanian, that's okay. This is the Romanian site, the Romanian version of Nvidia. It's not even updated properly. Like the product line isn't updated with the 3000 series. You have to click on a news link to get here. So the 3070 is priced at 2,500 RON. That is around 515 euros. So it's over the it's a hell of a lot over the $500 mark. It's over the 500 euro mark, but I have certain reservations towards this actually being a price I'll see on the market. Because when video cards tend to come on our market, they tend to cost a lot. For example, well, not me, but the editorial the other people at the place I used to work at, they reviewed a 2080 Ti, which cost about 8,000 RON. That would be about $2,000. I think it was a pilot one, but I'm not sure if there was like the international model, like in the US and stuff, if it actually got that price, but like in dollars. But we just had one that cost a ton of money. Because they can cost that much around here. Price gouging is a thing, taxes are a thing, price gouging is a thing, and stuff like this happens. So this would be an actually best possible price for this video card, which I don't think it will cost as much. I think it'll cost around 3,000, which is gonna be a bit under this one. Well, under the MSRP of this one, which I think will cost around 4,000. So it'll cost around what a Titan used to cost back in the day. And this one, yeah, this is probably going to cost 9,000 or possibly 10,000. This is just my gut inside. I don't have any actual data on this, on the prices in Romania. I don't have insider information. I don't work there anymore. But I have a gut feeling because I know these bastards. And they don't send review samples anymore, so that's okay. But even at this price, even at its dreamy, super duper amazing price of low price of 500 euros, 515 euros actually, unless I miscalculated. I'm gonna calculate again to make sure. No, that's correct. It's 515 euros. So that's the price. At this price, you're getting more performance than that, like 8,000 RON 2080 Ti that I told you about earlier. So even this price, this is still hella high. It is bonkers expensive. And you may think that no, it's not. Like it's just $500. It's a lot less than what you used to pay for the other card. How can you say it's expensive? Like the other card that was, like look at this. Look at where the performance is on this thing. It's gonna be amazing. Like, see, this is the Ti and the Supers, and see, it's over there. It's somewhere there. It's gonna be really great. Why would you say that it is going to be too expensive, or it's more expensive than it needs to be? Well, because it is. Because Nvidia has been playing the long con. And people have forgotten about it, and that pisses me off. It pisses me off especially because people, when the 2000 series was released, there were people, like, at the job I had, in the comments of the news I was writing, there were people that just did not get it. Like, they didn't get it at all. Because, well, that's a blast from the past. Because this is Tech Power, by the way. They have an excellent database of devices and pricing at release and relative performance charts. So I'm going to be using this for their for the purpose of this video. So go to Tech Power Up if you want to see the full charts and stuff. But anyway, when this heap of junk was released, it also cost $500. And what did that bring you? Did that bring you more performance than a 1080 Ti? No. It brought you somewhat less performance than a 1080 Ti. What about a Titan? Well, no. Actually, I'm not even sure if this was this the Pascal one? No, pardon, this was Turing. Yeah, so it had less performance than the Titan. Well, it's okay, it's a Titan, but less performance than the Ti. This was a trash fire of a video card when it came out. And I say this, like, seriously. In terms of what it had to offer, the 2000 series was trash. In terms of raw performance, yeah, okay, it brought ray tracing, super. I want ray tracing, but when they released this card, this entire series, there were no games that used ray tracing. There were no games that used DLSS. It took a year to get like the first game out to use it, like any of them, and then another 2 years for things to actually start going. And them releasing the 2070 Super, which actually did outperform the 1080 Ti, and it was released for the exact same price as this absolute turd fest. But when this was released, people were downright criticizing me for my criticism of this price gouging. Because this card, okay, I know that Turing architecture cost them $1 billion to develop. Okay, I get it. They made back that money from the server side. They've done that. But this price gouging, this was a calculated strategy. They did this just so that people now would go, oh my God, the new 3070 doesn't cost an arm and a leg. Wow, Nvidia are heroes. I'm amazed. How could they do this? It's amazing. Like, it's more performance than the card from the previous generation that was a top-end card for cheaper. Nobody's done that before, ever. Ever, like, at all. Really. At all. Okay, I'm not sure if anybody actually thinks that way, but from what I've seen on the internet, I'm kind of certain that there are people that have that train of thought, and it's bothersome because that is not actually reality. Let's step back in time a bit. This was a trash fire of a card as well. Well, the GTX 400 series was kind of a trash fire. It wasn't great. It wasn't really what you would call Nvidia's best effort. They tried to do some things. They didn't really succeed in many ways. Like this was my main video card like for years, and it was kind of at the same level as this one. And I used that up until 2016. I was on this, and then I switched to a GTX 750. So this card, this is I'm gonna go a bit through the history of the 700 series, the X70 series, if you will. Actually, that's the proper terminology for the X70 series, to sort of highlight exactly how much dickery is involved here. So this was it, right? The 470, the moment that Nvidia decided, you know what, we made a boo-boo, so we're gonna dig in, we're gonna work hard, we're gonna make graphics cards that are gonna make AMD sweat, and I mean sweat hard. And that's when we got this. This was a good card. Like, this was a card that cost $350. Yeah, I know what you're going to say about inflation. 10 years ago, inflation, not really as big of a factor as it would have been like 30 years ago. But look at this. The 570 has performance that is over the GTX 480. The GTX 480, by the way, that thing cost $500. Which, you know, is the price of an X70, like the 3070 card now. It was released like the same year. That can be right. December? March? Wow, this really was a trash fire of a series. So, more performance, better performance, like in general, a better video card. And Nvidia followed that one up with this. 2 years later. The 670. More performance than the 580, which was a bang-on good card. Like, look. More performance, price increase. Okay. It cost $50, $60 more. Understandable. It's still not a huge jump in price. I could live with that. It'll be okay. Still, it brought a lot of performance compared to the top of the old gen. And then we moved on to the new gen, the ones with the very, very fancy shrouds, you know, the embossed nameplate there, the select design that they had for a long time. This is the 7070. The 770. This had more performance than the 680. Okay, just by 5%, but still it had more performance, which was good. It was damn good. It was bang on damn good. I think this was the time when Nvidia released the Titan Was it this or was it next year? I think it was this year. Because the following year we got another very good card. The GTX 970 with its 3.5 gigs of RAM plus 500 megabytes of fast cache or whatever they called it. But look here. What's this? 330 bucks. Let's go back a bit. 400 bucks. New gen. Like just 1 year later, a year and a half later. More cores? Okay, less TMUs, but that's important. More ROPs, more RAM, less price. And performance. What was the performance like? It was pretty much the same performance as a GTX Titan. Now, granted, it didn't outperform the 780 Ti, but it was close to it for a heck of a lot less money. Because this thing cost a bundle. And this thing also cost a bundle. And this offered you basically the same performance. It's like 3%, that's not a lot. 3% is not a lot of performance delta between these cards. And most of it is due to the memory. Because 3.5, yeah, that's even in 2014, well, actually, no, in 2014 that was okay. But as time went on, it proved not to be, because the Wasteland 3 is pushing close to the 8 gig limit for me, for some reason. So moving on into the future, we got this. This is one of the best cards that Nvidia has ever made in the past years. Yeah, it had a price jump. It had a price jump, and that is noticeable. But, and I have to specify this, it's a big but. The price jump was kind of annoying. This is kind of when the long con started. But it started off well. It started off well in the sense that, yeah, you paid $50 more. But you got something that crapped over a Titan X, crapped over a TI, crapped over, well, everything. There just wasn't anything like beneath it. Nothing that you could compare. Okay, this is a current gen card that's different, but the top end could not compare. And this got into people's heads that, yeah, the card is a bit more expensive, with $50 more expensive, but look at it. It just screams the other cards that's a 10% performance difference for basically half the price. Well, not exactly half the price. It's a lot less than half the price of this one. You know, you get the idea. People were starting to get accustomed to the idea that, yeah, your next generation video card of a certain series, the 70 series, actually I don't think series is the right term, it's category, performance category, that a video card of a certain performance category will increase in price, but also offer blisteringly better performance than those of the cards of the previous generation. Which is something kind of dangerous to get used to, because this is what happened next. This pile of trash. It was $30 more expensive. It was, pardon, not $30. It was $130 more expensive. Pardon, $120. $129, actually no, $120. $120. I'm gonna reiterate this because I want to make sure that I'm reading this correctly myself. So you went for something that could give you 10% more performance than a TI, 8% more performance than a Titan, and probably 22% more performance than a 980. for, you know, almost 400 bucks to this thing for 500 bucks that gave you, well, yeah, it gave you more performance than a 1080. Yeah. But it was beneath the Titan and beneath the TI. And not by 3%. That's a kind of a big delta there. Hey, sure, this was an expensive card. But not by a lot. That's a $200 difference between them. You're paying $200 or less for a newer card that performs worse. Even though it's newer by some time. Like, okay, it's 1 year. It's still, it reinforced the idea that the newer generation is going to cost more. And when I criticized this in articles, people were saying, well, what did you expect it to cost? The same as it's more performance. It can cost the same. Yes, it does. It makes sense for it to cost the same as it did because that's how technology evolves. If we were to accept price increases for every generation of video cards, then the, I don't know, 5050, which is going to be released in like what, 4 years? That, what would you expect that to cost if the price increase had been like something set in stone since the 750? It cost $2,000 by now. Well, by then. $2,000 for an entry-level video card, that's okay. To some people, yeah, sure, it's the old metaphor. I hope it's a metaphor because I don't want to know if somebody actually did this. It's the boiling the frog alive thing. How do you boil a frog alive? You put it in a pot of water and just slowly increase the temperature by 1 degree every once so often so the frog doesn't notice. This is what that was. This. Going from this to this to this. Well, to this, I mean. And now we're at the $500 price. The same as this. But we have back the performance bonus we got from this. And people aren't saying what they should have said with this one. Or what they should have said a bit with this one. That, you know, it's kind of, the price is kind of high, isn't it? I mean, video cards are getting kind of expensive. No, they're cheering. They're saying, oh, wow, it's amazing. I can't believe it's so cheap. I was gonna sell my kidneys. But this is still way too expensive for what kind of card this is. A 2070. Or 3070. Or 4070, whatever they're gonna make after this one. At least this time we're gonna have the performance to actually sort of kind of back up the price. But we already lost the war. The response Nvidia got in part from the 2000 series because, you know, it got sold out. And Thomas Harder was publishing articles with you can't live another day without ray tracing, and then I'm gonna probably make a separate video about this, but when people say that there are two sides to every argument and then they make articles to, you know, highlight both sides, but instead of actually offering insight and wisdom and are just publishing divisive articles to cater to both parties, those people are assholes and should probably never be allowed to actually be an influence in public discourse ever again. It's just profiting off the division and not really helping at all. That goes for you too, PC Gamer. I know what I wrote in that comment, even though some people gave it a thumbs down. So this is the place where we are at now. Nvidia got away with this. People are now cheering for what was at one time a $330 video card that now costs $500. And they've been able to do this because, well, because look at this. Look at what's here. You have the XT, which is a nice card, and this one that was like dead on arrival. You have nothing else. You've got almost nothing else. It's all Nvidia here. They've been able to do this because AMD has not released like a proper high-performance video card. We keep hearing about Big Navi. I've got no clue if it's going to be good or not. No idea. Hopefully it won't suck. Because if it actually manages to be good, we're going to go back to this. Because here, like look here. Remember this? Remember this? Yeah. This was when AMD actually had kind of okay cards. Like this thing, this was actually a well-performing card. Horrible cooler, but a well-performing card. Sure, it was kind of expensive, but because it was kind of expensive, Nvidia did this. Nvidia had to undercut its price. Had to go from this to this. Just so it could stay on top. Because even if Nvidia, if AMD just released a rehash like this one for a bit more, this was still well performing enough. And then there's this thing, but we are we don't talk about this thing. It was kind of stupid. And then of course we had this thing. Oh, this is my current video card, by the way. It's getting on in years, and yeah, this price is a lie. Because of the mining craze, this price was a lie. We got one off Amazon. It was almost $300. You could not get it cheaper than $400 in my country. Even after the crypto craze, the prices would just not go down. Thankfully, now it's it and its successors, the 580, are around where they should be in terms of pricing, which is something that I don't think will happen to the 3000 series until we have something like this from AMD. And something like this from AMD across the board. Something that can push Nvidia's prices to, well, at least this, not this. Because as long as this is the price, it's going to be harder and harder to actually be able to properly get into PC gaming. Like, if you want to really excel at if you want to enjoy it to its fullest with its opulence, because technically you could get this, which this is what used to be the 70 series, the X70 series. See, it's same price. Performs just as well as a 1080 and a 1070. And almost this one. Man, that really was a third of a video card. Like an absolute garbage fire of a video card. Worked well, probably. I don't know. Never actually got to use one, but in terms of its pricing and its performance, it was just a big letdown. Whereas this was bonkers amazing. This was legit good. But thankfully now with what they're doing in the low end, even what Intel is doing with its integrated graphics, you can get into PC gaming on a budget. But if you actually want to enjoy things like in their full detail, you know, with proper resolutions, like 1080p is getting a bit long in the tooth. Like even I've gone to 1440p. I've gone one step beyond. I've gone to 2K. It's getting close to the point where we're going to go beyond the full HD. For that, you need cards that are a bit more powerful than more powerful than this. You need a 8 gig frame buffer. But that price, that price is good. Whereas this thing, God, that's just terrible. So moral of the story is as follows. I will probably end up getting a 3070. It's probably the card that will fit my budget the best, but I'm gonna hesitate to not get it this year. I'm gonna wait and see what AMD has to bring to the table. I'm not gonna get an AMD, mostly because they just don't have proper software support in all the video editing stuff I do and other stuff. So I use programs that kind of rely on CUDA a lot more than they rely on the OpenCL stuff. That's something that can really be helped. There's nothing I can do to change that. There's probably something AMD could have done like decades ago, make partnerships with various companies to have better support for stuff. They could have improved that, but I kind of want to go back to CUDA. Also, I want to go back to Nvidia's hardware encoders because since getting the RX 480, the speed at which I was making videos actually went down. My workflow got a bit more convoluted because I had to start using like various other recording software instead of the thing that was just built into the video card. Because otherwise, it wouldn't work. Relive just doesn't work properly on this video encoder with my specific video card. It just doesn't. And every driver update had a good chance to break something. Stuff like this would happen from time to time in the 750 as well. The 750, the old video card with 1 gig of video RAM I had, but it wasn't as often. And the things that would break it used to be stuff like the start menu used to break. Like Nvidia managed to break the start menu of Windows. That was a marvel to behold. I don't know how they did it, but they managed to. It was amazing. Still, my editing software still worked. All the effects were still accelerated. Everything else, the recording was still solid. On the RX 480, games run fantastic. If I was in this just for gaming, I wouldn't need to upgrade the video card like at all. I could just keep it around for a couple more years and just wait for the 4000 series and then see what would be up. But since I do still do videos, also as a job now, even though I don't work at Zone, I work with other stuff. I do kind of need that hardware encoder. Hardware encoder, if you want to get vampiric in the accent. It's a bit late, so I'm a bit tired. And Nvidia is just head and shoulders above AMD at that aspect. And even if they do get better, Nvidia also has proper hardware support in a lot, or proper software support, I mean, in a lot of editing suites and the ones that I'm using. So it's probably going to be the 370 for me. Otherwise, it's kind of going to be a long, sad time. Also, Cyberpunk's coming out and it's going to have ray tracing support, and I really want to play that with ray tracing because it's probably... Oh, by the way, The Witcher as well is going to have ray tracing, and my God, I loved how some places in The Witcher 3 looked, and just the idea I could play those with ray tracing just makes me giddy. And I mean proper ray tracing, not the screen effect garbage you keep seeing on certain sites as, oh, look at this this mod. This graphics mod brings ray tracing and it looks amazing. Looking at you, DSO Gaming, you keep posting about hot garbage, ENB settings that are just terrible, so please stop. It's just embarrassing. Well, that'll be it for this video. Hopefully I've managed to drill into your heads the idea that this used to be the price of a 80 card, like a 3080, 2080, 1080, 980, 780. This is what these cost. The 70 used to cost half, almost half of this. Well, not half it. 40% of this. No, actually, no. That's really the other way. The other way around. 60% of it. It's okay. I got no. It's actually more. It's like 70%. It used to not cost this. And because we don't really have competition, this is not going to improve all that much. But hopefully we'll have, because I don't want to play. I don't want to pay 3,000. I don't want to pay what would be the equivalent of the 3080 in Romania for 3070. Because I just know that's what they're going to make it cost, because that's what they always do. Because the importers are assholes. Also, this video is brought to you with one-day exclusivity on Liberty.tv or Liberty.com. Actually, I think it's both now. So check it out there as well, because if you check it out there, we earn like 10 cents a view or something like that. Anyway, it's about 1 billion times more than we get on YouTube. Technically, 1 billion times nothing is still nothing. But it's a 0 followed by 999 million zeros. And then a 1. And that's what we make on YouTube per view. On Libri, we make 1 billion times more than that. So it's actually 1 cent there. No, wait, that's per 1,000 view. That's what we make per 1,000 view on YouTube. On Libri, yeah, we probably make $1, maybe even $2. Actually, we could theoretically make $10 per 1,000 views on a Libri. That's RTX 3070 money right there. So watch it on Libri. Goodbye, everybody.